Hi guys, this is Vince over at Modern Music Studio, and today I'm going to do a guitar playthrough and tutorial of the song Let Her Go by Passenger. First thing you want to know is you need to use a capo if you want it to sound like what he's, the notes that he's playing. I will say he does capo on 7, which I can't sing as high as he can, so I always lower it, and I'm used to playing it just right around here. But the beauty is you can kind of move it around all over the fretboard since it's normally on capo 7 where he's playing. So I'll be showing you on capo 5, but just know that everything I do, if you want to play this with the record or, have it be note for note, you just want to put the capo on 7 instead of 5. Let's go over a couple things first before I even show you kind of how this goes. So one thing we're going to be doing, we're going to be finger picking, and we're going to be doing what's called Travis picking, which is just where you have this alternating bass line, and then you can have melody notes on top of it. A lot of times they're syncopated, so it kind of goes nicely with the thumb, which is playing the bass notes right on the beat. So I'll show you a little bit what this looks like after the intro, which is the main part I kind of want to talk about. He does do some Travis picking just on chords, which I think would be the best way to kind of learn how to do this, especially if you're not familiar with the style. So the chords we need are going to be F, C, G, and A minor. Now, another thing is I have to use my thumb. I think it's by far the easiest way to do it. So if you're not used to using your thumb, this would be one of those songs where it might be kind of helpful to kind of practice using your thumb, especially if it's uncomfortable at first. So to play that F chord, I do kind of like if you're used to this right here, this 3, 2, 1, 0 as your F major 7, you can hold that and then you're just thumbing this low F note right here. So we have F major 7, we have C, we have G, and we have A minor. Everything else is kind of easy except that F chord if you're not used to that. So these 4 chords. So let's first I'll show you how this goes in the song. This is when he first starts singing, and he starts by singing the chorus, and he's singing over this. The second time he stays on G twice. Then you do a repeat. And then you end on that G. And then he starts strumming for the rest of the song. But anyway, so that's what I kind of want you to start with. I want you to start with you're just playing the thumb note for the bass. And then we're doing thumb on the D string, middle on the B string, and then, so we have thumb, thumb and middle, and then thumb, index, thumb, middle. Keep in mind too, you kind of want to think about these 3 strings as using your thumb, and especially for it being bass notes, and then your melody notes are going to come with these 3 strings, the G, B, and E strings. And you really want to kind of assign a finger to those strings. You don't have to do it, but if you learn to practice this way, a lot of finger picking music becomes a lot easier. If you can kind of have these fingers have roles where this finger plays the G string, B string, and E string, okay? So I'll go ahead and play that a couple times, kind of slow, and if you want to try and play along, if you're kind of learning it, this might be a good thing for you. So we're going to go. Now, by the way, before I even start that, my bass notes are going to alternate. If I just play the bass notes, notice that I'm playing the E and D string. Now I'm on A and D strings. Now I'm back to the E and D string, A and D strings. So every chord is kind of alternating which notes are going to be the bass notes. But as you can see, it doesn't just stay on one note. It's always alternating 2 notes in the chord. Okay, so we have, it's a good idea maybe just to practice this too. This is just using your thumb, getting used to what it's going to be playing. If you want to stay on that G twice as long for the second time. And then with the added notes. Now at tempo. Okay, so that would be the first thing to try and do. There's several things we want to get used to. Having the capo very high, playing an F chord with our thumb if you're not used to that. We have the Travis style picking, which is pretty common in finger picking, but you might not be used to it. You might just be used to playing chords and things like that. So a little bit more involved here. So really take your time, even tempo, and really start with this part. Since everything is kind of the same, we're always doing bass note, strum, and then note, 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 note. So it's kind of like, you know, 1 and 2, or 1 and 2 and. Okay, so the intro of the song is way more involved. There's actually a melody going on versus it just being kind of like this static rhythm that they're playing. I'm going to play it for you, and then we'll kind of break it down, and I'll show you my approach to it, the one note that I change, and I'll play it slower, so if you want to try and play along, you can. So it's going to go. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is you really want to think about what I was saying earlier about these three fingers getting assigned to these three strings. So as I play this first part of the melody there, I'm going to use all the notes in reference to without a capo. So it'd be like D, E, D, C, middle, ring, middle, and then I do that as a pull-off. I've watched live footage of him play this, and he kind of prefers to pick it too. Doesn't really matter. But I do it as a pull-off, so we're going to go. Okay, so we have a hammer-on the G string to get that A note for our F chord. So hammer-on the G string to the A while we hit the bass. And then we're going to hit the D string and the B string. So we have that last part is doing kind of what we were doing earlier, this little pattern right here, thumb, index, thumb, middle, but you're going to hit the E string as well because the melody note goes up. So you have okay, so you just do that same little part after that. Then you're going to go to a G chord, use your ring finger, and you're going to do that same little kind of little segue into the next chord, D, E, D, C. You're going to go to an A minor chord, just with thumb. So you have thumb, thumb, thumb index, and then thumb and middle at the same time. Okay? So, let me play that from the F chord. So we have now, after that A minor, we're going to go to a G chord. And if you really watch, if every time I say index, middle, and ring, if you know that they're supposed to be on certain strings, you don't have to worry about what string I'm talking about. Just when you're picking index, we know it's the G string. So you have that type of thing. So you have that right there. So you have thumb in middle and then thumb index. Then you're gonna do your little D-E-D-C thing again. Now, when you go back to the F chord, there's a little melody on top, ring finger, because it's the E string. So we have, and a lot of these notes in between are just the same kind of thing. Thumb, index, thumb, middle. Thumb, index, thumb, middle. You can sit there and practice that if you're struggling with this. Try it on different chords. So, anyway, after that A minor, here's our F. This is the note I changed. In the song, he goes like this. So it's like a pinky hammer-on. I think it sounds better if you go to C to B. You play it how you want. But anyway. Slowly. One more time. Starts singing, he goes to that part we were talking about before. F, C, G, A minor. Okay, so the main kind of fun part to play in this song is this really cool finger picking part that I spent most of the time on. There's obviously the verse and the chorus and everything, but he's strumming the chords. So guitar-wise, it's not as interesting. If you want to see the chords, it's like, so A minor to F, G to E minor, back to A minor. Now you stay on G and you can do this little sus4, right with that C note. Sus, and then all these chords are what we were playing before, finger picking, F, C, G twice, you can add that little sus. But anyway, that's the whole rest of the song. So the really, really cool part is just that finger pick part that I was talking about. If you're kind of new to finger picking and you haven't done it a lot, this is a great one to play for a few reasons. One, if you play with the capo way up higher, in my opinion, it's easier to play guitar. You don't have to stretch as far. If you have smaller hands, it works out better. So a little bit easier to play with the capo. You get to practice like that Travis picking. And if you want, just like practice on a chord if you're kind of struggling with this type of thing. And then once you feel like you got it, change chords, change to a chord that uses different bass notes, get used to using your thumb on different strings. And then once you feel up to it, really try that intro with adding that melody in there. And then you're kind of putting the whole thing together. You have, really interesting melody over a moving bass line because of the Travis picking. Chord progression is really cool. So all in all, I hope you have a lot of fun with this, and it's a fun one to play. It's a fun one to sing and play if that's your thing. And until next time, take care and like and subscribe.